and welcome to Victory Farmstead. I'm Raquel.
I'm Zach.
And today we're going to be making a large batch of chicken bone broth from ingredients we've harvested here on our farm. It's the same process as if you're going to make a small batch. Yesterday we gathered all the equipment, all the ingredients that we need, and today we're going to show you how to make your own chicken bone broth.
Today we're going to be using this 100-quart crawfish pot that we bought from Academy. It has this handy insert which we'll use to pull out all the bones when the stock is finished.
In our bone broth, we are going to be adding garlic, onions, and carrots that we harvested from our garden. Our onions and our garlic did absolutely terrible this year. So our onions are about this big, and this is the biggest that they are, and there's not that very many of them anyway. So I'm just using all of those up, throwing them in a stock. That's one of the great things about bone broth is when you have scraps of vegetables or vegetables that aren't the size that you need for other things, you can just throw whatever you have, any quantity that you have, in the pot with your bones, and it will make a delicious bone broth. It's so dirty, right? You can peel it. It's nice and clean underneath. Isn't that cool?
Really cool. We have 15 chicken carcasses remaining from our harvest. You want to roast your bones in your chicken carcasses. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to sear them with this fire in the drop box and then smoke them for a little while just for added goodness.
We've gathered all of our ingredients. My husband has roasted our chicken, and so now making the broth is as simple as combining all of our ingredients, the roasted chicken, the vegetable mix if we choose to include vegetables, and covering it all with water. Okay. Generally, any vegetables are acceptable, although potatoes and brassicas are not usually used, and celery, onions, and carrots are what's traditionally used. Today I'm using garlic, onions, carrots, and the carrot tops. We're also going to be adding in lots of chicken feet. Chicken feet are full of gelatin, and so if you have them, they're a great addition to your chicken stock. Now we're going to add water to cover all of our ingredients. We've added in our carcasses, our chicken feet, and our vegetables, and now I'm going to add filtered water. We're using an RV water filter on our water hose to just cover the ingredients. So it's going to be like ice in a cold drink. You want a lot more ice to water. Same way with your bones and your ingredients. You want to fill your pot with your ingredients and then just use the water to fill in all those empty spaces. You may be asking, what about apple cider vinegar? Shouldn't we be adding that to our stock? And I've always added apple cider vinegar to my stock. However, I was recently reading that tests have shown no significant difference in the nutritional value of stocks made with it and made without it. So the idea of ACV is that it's going to pull out extra nutrients, collagen, things of that nature from the bones, but the tests simply don't bear that out. And since I usually make all of my own apple cider vinegar, I'm not going to spend any of that in a stock if it's not actually going to help. And now our last step is to leave this uncovered and bring it to a boil, and we'll lower it to a hard simmer for the next 10 to 12 hours. While it's cooking, you don't need to stir it. Actually, stirring it's going to cause a cloudy broth. But for the first hour or two, kind of casually as you think of it, come and skim off any foamy bits. Those are the impurities that are rising to the top. It doesn't have to be an exact science. Maybe every 20 minutes or so, skim off the broth, and then in 10 to 12 hours, you'll have a finished stock. The stock has been going all day, and now it is finally finished. It smells amazing. It looks beautiful. It's this golden color. It's just absolutely wonderful and rich and full of nutrients. We've pulled the meat and the vegetables out, and we're actually going to use all the meat that's still in the bones, pick through it, and save it for other dishes. And then for the broth itself, it's ready now for transferring into jars or into the refrigerator or the freezer, or for using right now. My plans are to put as much of this in the refrigerator as I can for a special project, and then can the rest. Thank you so much for joining us today as we made bone broth here on the farm. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.